So as I'm sure you know by now, because we've been discussing this on every single video this week, there's tons of bye weeks this week. So that includes kickers being affected as well. Every single kicker that I really like, most of them are on bye this week. There's going to be a lot of new guys on these rankings today that you guys will notice right here. So obviously we're getting into the top 12 kickers in week 7 fantasy football, guys. Before we get started, still giving away hats, guys. All you need to do to get a chance to win a free hat from me is go down there, drop a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and put a comment in the comment section. Those are the 3 requirements for you to have a chance to win this hat today. I appreciate you guys being such a great audience. I have a great time with you guys every single week. Let's go ahead and get right into these rankings right now. So, number 1, I've got Jake Elliott still. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Miami Dolphins at home this week. So I know that Jake Elliott was disappointing last week. In fact, if you watch the Jets and Eagles game, he actually missed a big time kick, in which they probably would have, they wouldn't have won, but they would have had a better chance to win. It was part of the Eagles' kind of collapse game that they had against the Jets in week 6. I don't make too much of it because when you look at Jake Elliott's numbers, he's putting up mid to low end RB2 numbers and mid to low end wide receiver 2 numbers. Jake Elliott is very important in fantasy football. And here's the thing that I've said on the defense ranking video, on several other videos this week. I think the Eagles are actually going to take it to the Dolphins this week. That's actually kind of a low-key prediction I have because when you look at the Dolphins' record, the Dolphins have beaten teams this year with a combined record of 5-25. And the only winning team they played, the Buffalo Bills, they put them in a total headlock. I mean, like they've got beaten down by the only good team they played. I'm not saying the Dolphins are bad. I think the Dolphins are a super awesome team. But I think Jake Elliott's going to be fine this week. I think they're going to put him in a range. He's going to continue to get plenty of field goals and plenty of opportunities to kick from long and short distances. Brett Maher of the Los Angeles Rams at number 2 here, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Los Angeles this week. Brett Maher is in a very similar boat. He's been tremendous in fantasy football. Look at the numbers. Exact same fantasy points per game as Jake Elliott. And I love the matchup even more this week for the Rams. Because, yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a bye week, and that is a good thing. But when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers historically against West Coast teams specifically, they don't travel well there. They do not have a good record when they travel to the West Coast. They're on the east side of the country. They got to take a flight all the way over there. It doesn't usually end well historically. This is not me just making this up as a narrative. I've been watching the Steelers my whole life, and I know exactly that this is a problem here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Rams here, I think they're in good shape to really open up a can of whoop on the Pittsburgh Steelers, to be honest with you guys. I think Brett Maher is going to get in plenty of field goal opportunity situations. Jake Moody at number 3. San Francisco 49ers are taking on the Minnesota Vikings this week. I've said this earlier in the week too. I think the Vikings are going to get slaughtered this week by the 49ers. I just think it's going to be a bad game. I think, and like I've said, I think the Vikings are actually kind of low-key tanking right now. I mean, if they didn't have Kirk Cousins with a no-trade clause in his contract, they would have sent him off by now. They're trying to trade their best pass rusher, Danielle Hunter, right now, who leads the league in sacks. So I think the Vikings are just they're going to get killed. The 49ers are coming off a really bad week, and Jake Moody has been very accurate. You can see the numbers on the screen. 10 out of 12 field goals made, and he's made every single extra point. Jake Moody's going to be great this week. I've got no issues against the Minnesota Vikings. Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs this week, up way higher than usual. They're taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. So not only do I think points are going to be flying in this matchup, I think the Chargers are going to put up a really good fight. And I do think that the Chiefs will win. And I would not be surprised if it came off the leg of Harrison Butker, because you can see it on the screen. He's perfect. He hasn't missed a single kick all season long. And he's actually averaging over 10 fantasy points per game. So Harrison Butker has been great. I think that he could easily win the Kansas City Chiefs this game. He has the leg for it. He's perfect. He's accurate. Harrison Butker, I think, is in a great situation this week. I love the matchup for him. I think he's going to do great. Dustin Hopkins at number 5 here of the Cleveland Browns, taking on the Indianapolis Colts at home. So Dustin Hopkins, to me, is it's going to fluctuate week to week, I think. And I really do think that Deshaun Watson being out doesn't actually affect him as much as, you would maybe think. Because when you look at last week, Dustin Hopkins was a huge part in that victory against the 49ers. A huge part of it. And he's missed 2 field goals this season, but he's got the leg with 55 yards, and he's averaging 11 fantasy points per game. They're taking on a Colts team that is, they're not bad, but they're without their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I think they're going to do pretty decent work against the Indianapolis Colts this week, and I think Dustin Hopkins is going to have plenty of opportunities to hit big kicks in this game. Tyler Bass at number 6 of the Buffalo Bills, taking on the New England Patriots. That's all you need to know. No, I'm just kidding. But Tyler Bass, obviously, very good fantasy kicker. And last week, disappointing. Like, he missed a big kick last week. Almost cost him the game, actually, against the Giants. It's not going to matter in the long run. Like, Tyler Bass is still really, really accurate. He hasn't missed an extra point all season. I think that the Bills honestly come back. I think they're going to obliterate the Patriots this weekend. I mean, the Patriots obviously suck. They're a low morale team right now. Nobody wants to be there. And the Bills are just a way better team. Now, they have been playing a little bit worse than we're used to over the past several weeks. I don't think it matters against the Patriots, to be completely honest. Like, I think that they're going to just absolutely have their way with the Patriots. Get Tyler Bass into plenty makeable situations where he can kick 3 to 4 field goals in this game and several extra points. Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens, returning to the top 12 in what might be the matchup of the week. Baltimore Ravens versus the Detroit Lions. The matchup, first of all, is great. Like, I cannot wait to watch this game on Sunday. Justin Tucker's starting to get his groove back. And really, it's a result of the offense getting their groove on a little bit. Now, to be honest here, we have to look at what the Ravens have done. The Ravens haven't really played much of anybody. They played the Titans, they played the Steelers, they played the Browns, they played the Bengals before they got it figured out. They played the Houston Texans. Like, they haven't really had a top-tier opponent like they're taking on this week. And I think the Lions actually are going to play a very good defensive game. The Lions were in the top 12 of my defense rankings video this week. Justin Tucker, to me, though, like, yes, he has missed a couple kicks this year, and it has been concerning, and that's really why he hasn't been inside of the top 12 a lot this season. But Justin Tucker, in this type of game environment, he's going to need to make big kicks, and I do intend to see him do that because he is a Hall of Fame kicker if I've ever seen one. Number 8, Matt Gay of the Indianapolis Colts. Still on here, and they're taking on the Cleveland Browns. Matt Gay has been legit this year. I mean, he's almost perfect. Only one missed kick, and he's hit a 56-yarder. And really, Matt Gay has hit plenty of long kicks. He's averaging almost 10 fantasy points per game. Why? Because the Indianapolis Colts offense, they're actually good enough to get you down there a lot. Because their head coach, Shane Steichen, he's a really good offensive mind. He can move the ball down the field. Now, the difference here with Anthony Richardson versus Gardner Minshew is Anthony Richardson, the offense with Anthony Richardson, was actually getting in the end zone. They were pretty efficient. Now, obviously, that was a small sample size, and now we've got Gardner Minshew. And obviously, Gardner Minshew is not worth much of anything. But here's the thing. The Jacksonville Jaguars crushed the Indianapolis Colts last week. And Matt Gay, with under 10 points of his total team, he ended up having a pretty good week in fantasy football because he gets opportunities. That's the ultimate goal here. Matt Gay's going to get opportunities this week against the Browns. Jason Myers at number 9. Seattle Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The matchup is great. And I've said this all week. I think the Arizona Cardinals are about to head into a tailspin. And I get it. Kyler Murray, he's on the horizon. He might return here pretty soon. I don't really think it matters. I actually don't even know if they want to play him. That aside, that just shows that the matchup, I think, is going to be in Seattle's favor big time. Jason Myers has had concerns, though. 4 missed field goals this year. He's perfect on extra points, though, and he kicks several long field goals. So I think that Seattle's offense, very similar to the Colts in a way, where they get you down there, but they're not always efficient. And obviously, they're for different reasons. Seattle's reason is because their quarterback just isn't that good. Well, Indianapolis' reason, yeah, their quarterback's not that good, but they have good coaching that gets them down there. Seattle's got playmakers all over the field. So Seattle's going to put Jason Myers into range. He will definitely get into range to make some big kicks in this game. And I think they're going to breeze by the Arizona Cardinals, giving Jason Myers plenty of opportunities this week. Number 10, Anders Carlson of the Green Bay Packers, taking on the Denver Broncos in Denver. You know, honestly, here's the thing. Any kicker, any defense, any quarterback, any wide receiver, running back that plays the Denver Broncos is going to be inside the top 12 to 30. And that's really the reality here. The Packers are just in a great situation. And you can see in the numbers on the screen, Anders Carlson is not some prize kicker in fantasy football. I mean, he doesn't even have double-digit field goal attempts this season. And he's got 10 extra point attempts this season. Now, the good thing is that you can rely on him because he's perfect. He hasn't missed a single kick yet. And I think that with the matchup that he's getting with the Denver Broncos, a team that's already falling apart, and their defense sucks, I think Green Bay is going to actually get down there plenty this week. Even with Jordan Love struggling, it's a good matchup here. And that's why I think a perfect kicker like Anders Carlson is going to be just fine in the top 10. Jason Sanders in that elite matchup versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I've got the Miami Dolphins kicker here at number 11. Jason Sanders, similar concerns to a guy like Jason Myers, right? A guy like Greg Joseph, who's not on this list, but, similar concerns of the fact that he doesn't make all of his kicks. In fact, he's missed several. He's missed 3 kicks this season, and his longest kick is only 45 yards. Now, I don't think it's because he doesn't have leg. I think Jason Sanders does have leg. The reality with the Miami Dolphins offense is they're super efficient. They're the most efficient offense in the NFL. So they're getting down there, they're getting in the end zone. That's what's going to happen. So that's the reason why he's only had 7 field goal attempts, and he's had almost 30 extra point attempts already through the first 6 weeks of the season. Just from a touchdown perspective and from an extra point perspective, Jason Sanders belongs inside the top 12 this week, in a week where there's a ton of bye weeks. Joey Sly rounds out the top 12 of the Washington Commanders, and the reason why is because he's taking on the Giants. It's a very similar situation to Anders Carlson. It's worse, though, because he misses kicks. You can see he's missed 3 field goal attempts this season, but he hasn't missed an extra point. But as you can see, he's definitely in a situation where he's not getting that many attempts. And that's the problem. But the matchup is the reason he's here. Not going to sugarcoat it. Not going to act like I have some more in-depth analysis on this one. That's the reason why Joey slides on the top 12. Matchup, and for the fact that bye weeks are impeding the rankings and kickers this week in a big way. So let me know what you think of the kicker rankings in the comments below, and what questions you need answered before week 7 fantasy football. And if you want to see my top 12 defense rankings for week 7 fantasy football, click on this video right here.